Well, good morning, everyone. It's a beautiful day in Monterey. It's Wednesday, August 20th, 2025. Welcome to this installment of Mornings with the Manager. Um, let's start with a quick review over the past 10 days or so, which we lovingly call Car Week. Um, Car Week is behind us, and in generally observations, I can share with you that we received quite a lot more complaints from residents living, working, traveling through the city of Monterey. The traffic impacts were in some cases different than they were in previous years. There were several reasons for all of that, but also what we heard were complaints about events that took place after scheduled car events. Let's call those after shows or side shows that took over some of the areas here on the peninsula, not directly in the city of Monterey, but in other areas. And we'll talk about this today a little bit more to share with you how we looked at that, what we did as a city of Monterey, and hopefully this helps to clarify a few of those topics. Number one was the traffic. The traffic was heavier than in previous years. Though on Thursday we had an event where basically we had a lot of stop and go on Lighthouse Avenue and all the adjacent streets in New Monterey, i.e., Hawthorne, Lane Street, Belden Street, etc. All those folks that were trying to get through the tunnel back to their hotels or different events. That was caused, as far as we could identify, that there were accidents on Highway 68 as well as an accident in Pebble Beach. And the rerouting of the traffic was going through our city, through Pacific Grove, David Avenue, Lighthouse Avenue, Hawthorne, and Prescott towards the tunnel. And that led to this absolute bumper to bumper traffic for about two and a half hours. That started at about, I want to say, 3:30 or 4 o'clock in Monterey, and it ended at about 6:30 in New Monterey when the traffic normalized. So these were traffic bumper to bumper situation that were caused by traffic accidents that had happened on Highway 68, but also on a traffic accident that one big accident, I believe, in Pebble Beach. So that was the anomaly, and that, of course, throws off our traffic pattern. We also checked our parking data and looked over the last couple of days, and I can share with you that parking during the car week was pretty normal when compared to other car weeks. So we did not see a real increase in parked cars. What you also saw on several nights was taking over the In-N-Out parking lot, In-N-Out Burger parking lot in Seaside, which is directly on the border to Monterey. Um, it appears to be a staple of a certain crowd to assemble at In-N-Out Burgers and then to have car sideshows there, which means burnouts or driving donuts in the parking lot, etc. And Thursday night was the first night that this happened in the parking lot at In-N-Out Burger in Seaside. And everyone who knows the geography there knows that our neighborhoods in Monterey are directly adjacent to that. And if you have exotic cars revving the engines and spinning their tires, everyone can hear that in a 1 to 2 mile radius. And so that happened Thursday night. And the appropriate police department there in Seaside was probably surprised on Thursday about that sideshow. But it happened again on Friday and Saturday night, and there shouldn't be a surprise for law enforcement at that time. So That was what is disturbing. That Thursday was a surprise. This can happen, but it should not have happened on Friday and Saturday. And we were surprised that this was going on in the city of Seaside at the In-N-Out Burger. And of course, this had extension towards our neighborhoods there. But I'm very sure also that the adjacent hotels, Holiday Inn, as well Embassy Suites in Seaside, as well as our hotel, the Hampton Inn in Monterey, were also affected by that. And I'm curious also what those hotel operators were thinking about that. Then we had another large scale event on Saturday in Seaside, which is called Exotics on Broadway. And we had another event at the Monterey County Fairgrounds in Monterey, the Monterey Sports Car event that took place directly after the conclusion of the event Exotics on Broadway. And what happened there was that basically the crowd and also, I believe, some of the vehicles displayed at Exotics on Broadway were then part of the event at the Monterey County Fairgrounds. And at the Monterey County Fairgrounds, we also then had areas where the cars were allowed to rev the engines and where the cars were also allowed to do burnouts with their tires, maybe even driving donuts. And that event went till 11 p.m. on Saturday night, accompanied, of course, with the associated noises. And that event was very well visited. And so, where we were as City of Monterey surprised was that the neighborhoods were affected with parking like a normal jazz festival or Kali Roots festival, and we were not informed by the event organizer that we needed to maybe implement our parking program that we usually have, where we block off neighborhoods to ensure that the parking doesn't overspill into our neighborhoods. So the Saturday night event then spilled over again to the In-N-Out Burger parking lot, as well as into the Home Depot parking lot, where also sideshows were taking place. And Saturday night, then our police and other police agencies were asked by the City of Seaside's police department for mutual aid, which means they didn't have enough officers on the street or at the Home Depot parking lot, and they required additional help. And of course, we were responding and helping them. So those events really are, in my assessment, in my opinion, contributed to a lot of the concerns and complaints we have. Those events are not really what Car Week is about. These are more events that attract a group of followers that is different than what we usually have during Car Week. There are expectations with those sideshows. There are expectations with those influencers and those YouTubers that really just come to showcase the car, but also to make all the associated noises and actions with their cars that really destroy the character of Car Week and this gathering of people who are actually appreciating cars and also especially the classic of certain models of cars. So what I can share with you is on the Monterey City side, we had our enforcement program activated starting on Wednesday before this week, Sunday, on that Wednesday, and our officers issued more than 200 citations. I think we arrested about 10 or 12 of those high speeders. We towed a bunch of cars also, and we were able also through our police tactics to prevent gatherings of those cars who would have loved to have burnouts on Alvarado Street or burnouts on Cannery Row again, but our tactics and police force is on top of that. Just so that you know, in Monterey, every single officer who can work is working there. It's mandatory overtime. It's all hands on deck. And we hope that other cities have implemented a similar policy. And if they have not, that next year they will be helping us and helping themselves, so we do not need to help each other. In strategic planning is a great process, and I compliment our police chief and his entire team to have a very effective plan in place since 2019, when we had an issue with exotics on Canary Row. So this is what I wanted to share with you. This topic has to be continued. We have to look at all the follow-on consequences, and we have to discuss with our neighboring agencies what can we do better, what have we learned, and how can we ensure that Car Week remains a premier event in the United States for car enthusiasts to come and enjoy this beautiful scenery here, but also to look at those cars that you normally just see in catalogs or in classic magazines or books described because of their uniqueness and their beauty. Um, with that, moving on to the next topic, which is last night's council meeting. We had the second reading in front of us about a state law that is called SB 9. It basically regulates the housing in the city of Monterey. It is a state law that eliminates single family housing areas or R1 zoning, and it will allow to build ADUs, accessory dwelling units, onto lots up to 4 housing units per parcel in the city of Monterey. And there was another specific twist of the SB 9, because as we were looking at our housing element, and you remember that I spoke to you about it a few times, our regional housing needs allocation, also called RENA, required us to plan for 3,654 additional housing units. As we were in the process of getting this approved by the California Housing and Community Development Department, HCD, we had to plan for some areas to allow up to 6 ADUs if the lot size allows that as well. And there was a point yesterday of discussion between the council, the community, and staff about why that was part of the approved housing element. And we explained it in a nutshell, that the Housing and Community Development Department, HCD of California, they hold all the cards. And they are really trying to ensure that they provide the numbers to their elected officials. And as part of that, we had to concede during the approval process that this is a way of building additional units. Now, here in Monterey, that has not led to any increase of housing units, and we had 5 projects that were based on SB 9. None of them ever came to fruition because of the water issue also that protects right now those who do not like to see those additional units in their neighborhood popping up. The other discussion last night was also about a lawsuit, whether charter cities have to follow SB 9. The city of Monterey is a charter city versus a general law city. Charter cities are basically cities in California which can create their own set of rules and ordinances and laws, as long as everything is based on the California Constitution and the Constitution of the United States. And so as a charter city, we do not have to follow every single law that the state is providing us with or is asking us to do. Of course, the state is smart about that and provides enough provisions that this law will, whatever law they have, will apply to every city. In this case, SB 9 had definitely a loophole, and it was challenged by cities and the charter cities in the state of California, and they won in the first round of lawsuits. But what we have learned over the past years is that you can play the game delay, 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 and appeal, appeal, appeal. And of course, the state has appealed that as that decision, and we are right now in the phase that we are awaiting the court's decision of that appeal. What the state also did was, when they noticed that SB 9 had this loophole, they added another law to it quickly, SB 450. And SB 450 then provided protection for the state and closed that loophole, and says in it, charter cities have to follow this as well. Having said all that, this whole case is being litigated right now. And yesterday, residents basically said, well, let's not do it now. Let's wait until the lawsuit is over. And the argument from staff and others where it was, we cannot wait. We have to comply. We are already 1 year behind the approval of SB 9. And if we wait, HCD might come and fine us. And what wasn't mentioned last night was HCD has actually an enforcement arm with about 20 or 30 attorneys working there, and they will send out corrective action letters where they basically tell folks, you have to comply, and if you don't comply, here are the fines. And the worst threat they can make is that they say, we'll take away from you local planning authority. Basically, that will mean that then the state will do all the community development planning functions for us, the city. That's their type of penalty or punishment for that. And so, frankly, we did not have the choice to just wait and see. And at the end of a very robust conversation and exchange of thoughts, the council voted 3-2 to adopt the second reading. And now in 30 days, this ordinance will become in effect. Again, the caveat is there is a court trial going on. We are waiting for the decision. And pending on the outcome of that decision, our SB 9 ordinance could be potentially changed and adapted according to the conditions imposed through the trial judge and the ruling. Okay, that's about that. Last night also we met with the NCIP. We had a very collaborative, collegial conversation with them. I think we all understand that now is the time for the NCIP to really look at the number of projects that they would like to bring forward to the council. We just cannot feed the needs in getting projects done as rapidly as we can because of real staffing challenges we experience in our engineering division. In a nutshell, we cannot hire enough engineers because engineers are a rare commodity on the labor market, and everyone wants a piece of an engineer. And so it's very difficult for us to fill those engineering positions. We are right now staffed at about 50% of the positions that we actually have. That leads to a backlog of project accomplishments, and that results in asking the NCIP to please slow down. Don't send us 40 projects. Please send us just 10 or 12 large ones that we can actually have a realistic chance of tackling over the next 12, 18, 24 months. That was a good conversation we had. We also talked about the cost of NCIP projects once they are built. And so there are a great deal also of NCIP projects that are creating new assets, new elements that we are adding into a park, or we are adding it into the streetscape or at the recreation trail or somewhere on our in our city infrastructure, and they will cost money of maintenance. A great example were boardwalks. We have built boardwalks in neighborhoods to get to the beach in a more convenient way. All those costs were carried by the NCIP, and we are grateful for that because they have really enhanced, for instance, in this case, access to the beaches. But what is not part of the project is the cost for now the additional resources that we need to maintain those boardwalks. If you know that the boardwalks are overblown with sand, you need a park maintenance worker to allocate time to clean that boardwalk, and you need equipment to do all that. And so we are talking amongst ourselves and with the city council and with the NCIP as well as with you. How do we bridge those costs? And I think last night was a good starting point. But in the end, it is my hope that the NCIP will contribute to personnel costs. And as we read the city charter right now, that is not possible. However, the funding needs to come from somewhere, and it can only come from the folks that are approving those projects. And the city council and the community is tasked to figure out how we can channel funding from the NCIP towards those ongoing maintenance costs. And a great deal was spent last night to discuss that, as well as how do we pay for replacement parts for new projects, etc. I think that's the more simpler question. The more complex question is really the one where we need to look at the resources that are then out there maintaining assets that the NCIP and the city council approved and bringing forward. So it was a very great conversation, great starting point. I'm very hopeful that we will figure this out over the next couple of weeks. Over the next Friday in our Monterey Matters email, we will include a survey. We want to learn more from you about how you use our wharves. We need that feedback to better tailor a grant application that we are bringing forward. And it's about wharf number 2. And I hope that you find the time to fill it out and send us your honest feedback back. We just need to know to what degree the wharf number 2 is used by our residents and how do you feel about certain questions. Here in the Monterey Sports Center, we have now our snack bar open. It's called 831 on Franklin, and it's opened. It opens at 7 a.m. to 1, and then again from 3 to 7 every day, except for weekends when it's open from 9 to 4 p.m. All what I hear are great feedback. So if you visit the Sports Center, stop by at our snack bar operated by 831 on Franklin, and I hope you have a great experience there. If you don't, please let me know, and we will talk to the operator if there are any ideas, suggestions they can implement for us. Also, the Sports Center, the saunas are installed. We have an issue with the heating elements right now. That's why they have been not fired up yet. The heating elements are not working the way we had hoped for. So the vendor is shipping us new heating elements. So that's why you see the saunas looking like fully operational, but we have to exchange the current heating elements with heating elements that actually will work with our specific configuration of the Sports Center. So it's a little glitch. Just stand by and we'll give you great updates. Summer program is over. We had about 1,200 folks that participated in the summer reading program. A total of 2,400 folks also used the library programs during the summer for different summer programs. So very impressive numbers from the library. And thank you to Brian Edwards and Melissa and the entire team for, again, making sure that our kids know how books are functioning and magazines and sensitizing all of that. Um, Tomorrow is a brand new event at Hilltop Park Center. It will start at 5 and will end at 7:30. We call this event City Hall in Your Corner. It's a pop-up event where we basically bring representatives from every city department to Hilltop Park Center. And it's designed so that you can go there and ask questions and connect with the parking division and find out why do cars in my neighborhood get cited for parking more than 72 hours and who is turning who in. You can talk to the building inspection department about building permits. You can talk to community development about housing issues and ADU issues. And you can talk to the police about policing issues. Fire will be there. You can ask questions about how do I prepare my house for a potential wildfire? What do I have to do in order to do it the right way? So everyone will be there, Parks and Recreation, as well as the city manager's office will be there. So please stop by tomorrow. We also have some activities for the kids. As always, if we have free food, people come, so we will have hot dogs there as well. And so it's a test. We will see how this works and we will apply the lessons learned to the next event, City Hall in Your Corner, which will be on September 13th from 10 to 1 o'clock at Montecito Park. And in general, we are planning to have those City Hall in Your Corner twice a year and have it in over 2 years then in every single district for every council member. So this year it will be District 1 and District 4, and then next year we'll move the event to District 2 and District 3. City Hall in Your Corner, brand new event. I hope you come and stop by there. You don't have to live in District 1 to attend there and get your question answered. So please join us. Let us know how you like it. And again, it's one of those things that where we really try to connect with the residents by bringing City Hall into your neighborhood. And that's all for today. I want to thank all of you for listening to me again. As always, I thank you also that you allow us here to work for you. And it's a privilege to be part of this great organization and a privilege to live and work in this beautiful city. And as always, if there's something we can do better, feel free to connect with us and we will be happy to uh, get things done in a way that you want us to do. So thank you so much. Have a beautiful day. Bye bye.